Hello guys, so apparently there was an announcement for Lost Stories, which I was not aware of that happened last week. And so I thought we would discuss what happened in that announcement. There was a live stream that took place. They've been posting videos on YouTube channel showing different gameplay footage. Well, not gameplay footage, more like promotional art, video, things like that. So we're going to go over those videos. We're going to go over the live stream. I'm going to discuss my thoughts on the story, the overall game, and how it's progressing. I will say, as a spoiler alert, I am liking it, but I'm still, of course, because of what happened with Janitary Code, holding my breath. I'm not going to assume anything yet, but so far, so good. So let's get into first the videos that we were seeing on the YouTube channel. They're all quite short, but I wanted to go over them because, hey, it's new footage and we should talk about it. Okay, here's the first video we're going to look at that the YouTube channel posted, or they posted on the YouTube channel rather, from DMS Games. And so it shows simple gameplay like we saw in the last trailer, the one that announced the game. This is some new footage of Sutherland's firing on somebody. I believe this is the mother of your character, or it could be some random civilian, I don't know. We see footage again of the 3D Knightmare frames in battle. Nothing new, we already saw this in the previous trailer, but what we didn't see was this new Knightmare frame, which we'll see more of in the live stream. Not live stream actually, the videos that came out after this one. But we see a little preview of this Knightmare frame, which looks pretty cool, and then it simply ends. So that was the first video they had. Okay, here is the second video that they posted on their channel, and you might have seen this one already. It shows Alush, your character, they bang hands, and then again, more gameplay footage like we saw before. And the reason why I didn't really want to post or talk about this in one separate video, because it's literally what we've seen before. Nothing really new here. Knightmare frames battling the 3D action, which is awesome. Pretty cool stuff. Now, here's the new part. You see this Knightmare frame appear, and it's launching into the air with your character piloting it, which is awesome. And if you look at the way it makes its debut, it's really awesome. It actually reminds me of a lot of cool Knightmare frames we've seen in the anime so far. One thing I think you guys probably already noticed, it kind of reminds me of the Tristan. I have a couple other images of it as well. So here's another version. This is the Tristan divider. So again, it kind of looks like it. That was my first initial thought, like the head design, the wings, right, the blades. But what's also kind of cool about it too is that in addition to it looking like the Tristan divider, the actual appearance of it, like the way its introduction, reminds you of a couple other Knightmare frames from the series. Such examples include, we have here the Guren flight enabled version. If you might remember, this is from turn 6 when it gets its when you first see Colin's Knightmare frame get upgraded. Again, it's kind of just epic where it's in the sky by itself, which is pretty cool. And of course we have the Lancelot Albion when it first debuted, again in the air, so they're trying to make this just as special as that event. And then the last one, a little different but similar concept, is when the Guren Satan 8 Elements first appeared, again by itself in the air. So I assume they were replicating that with the debut of this Knightmare frame called the Pendulum, I do believe. And then essentially the trailer ends. So that was the two videos that they showed on their channel. Again, I didn't want to do a video on it because kind of short. But then they had this 1 hour live stream, and I'm not gonna actually play the whole thing. I started, but I'm not gonna play it. I cut up the whole hour into small segments so I can discuss what happened in this live stream. We can go over the information they presented. So it kind of follows a pretty formal linear thing here. First, it goes over the story of Code Geass, and specifically your role in it, which is you are a half Japanese Britannian, and it goes further into that. That's basically it. You're kind of like Colin. You live a dual life, and you want to help the Black Knights because of an event that occurs. We'll get to that as this live stream progresses. So again, this is just footage of the show. We can skip right through that. It's kind of cool. We see the whole compilation here. And again, they of course, they show more of it in like snap images there. Then, yeah, okay, more of that stuff. Okay, yep, again, more of what the game's going to have, of the characters of the story, the new animations. And again, this is from R1 so far. But we know it's going to include R2, and we'll get into that a little later. Okay, this is, remember, it's the 50th anniversary. Remember, they are replaying Code Geass right now with the new intros and endings. We see here all the new characters as they've been redesigned, which is kind of cool. I don't hate any of them. I will say that C2 and Suzaku's outfits are a little tight, but at least C2 isn't contorting her butt and her face. Contouring her butt so you see her face and her butt at the same time. Like Janitary Code, so I know that the bar is really low, but I'll still take it, honestly. Then we see Lucius' voice actor, and by the way, they're getting all the voice actors from the original series to recast the role, which is kind of cool. So Lucius' voice actor is talking here. I don't know what he's talking about, doesn't really matter. We see more images of the game and the 15th anniversary. Those are the characters you're going to be, or you could choose one of them, which I believe is the next segment in this. I don't remember. Oh no, so we get this this design of some girl. I don't know who this is. Even the announced characters, I'm just not sure. Her hair is obnoxiously long for somebody who is that old, but whatever. Some new character. I'm not sure who this is. I don't think they gave her a name yet. More information about the game. Here's the next cool part. So you either can be a girl or a guy, which is pretty common in games like this. It kind of reminds me of Cyber Sleuth, although a completely different IP, but something similar. And you're either going to be a Britannian student, or you're going to be in the Black Knights, I believe, a girl or a guy. So totally fine by me. Although I wish you could customize the hair and maybe do a little more customization with your character, but I'm not going to complain too much about it. But now I think about it, her hair is kind of obnoxiously long, but it is anime, so it is what we should expect. So we see the characters, again, more designs of this character. I'm not sure who this is. Then we see Carly and Claris, I believe. Claris is your guardian, and Carly is some Knightmare frame pilot, I believe. I could be wrong, that's what the Wikipedia said, but I mean, is Wikipedia reliable? Well, you know the answer to that question. So we see announced with these two characters and their designs. Then it moves on to show C2's voice actress. Sorry, I kind of went by that pretty quickly. She's apparently 45. She looks great for 45. So she'll be reprising her role as well. Then it moves on to Colin's voice actress. Again, I think it's the original one. So we have that. This is some gameplay footage of how the story is going to progress. Basically, each individual scene. So we see, I believe this is your younger sister talking to you, or someone related to you, I would assume, since she calls you Onisama. I assume that means, you know, your sibling. Also notice that she has a crane in her hands, obviously very Code Geass like, since that's very common. This is what the game is going to look like. You see how everyone's very animated and they're talking, and again, it looks pretty good. Is it good as the animations we saw? No, but I still appreciate the fully animated characters and dialogue, you know, voice acting. It looks okay. It's not the greatest, but it looks okay. Again, I believe that she's your younger sister. This is if you choose to be a girl. Then we see Lelouch talking to Suzaku. And again, everyone's kind of animated and voiced, which is great. This is a scene from either stage 1 or stage 2. I'm not sure exactly the context, but Ogi's talking to Colin. It looks pretty good. It's very cartoony, even for an anime, which is kind of funny for me to say that. But again, I'm not going to complain. It looks all right. And then, of course, we see this, which we've seen now for 1,000 times, of Lelouch and your character talking, which he has a name, by the way. I will get to that when we get to the website. But that's that right there. Then we see the famous scene of Lelouch and Jeremiah, where he uses Geass on him, so he'll let them all go. This is very important, by the way, in the story, because this is where your character gets involved in the story. And pause for there. Where your character gets involved in the story, and why you decide to join the Black Knights. We again see more footage of the 3D Knightmare frames battling. This is all promotional stuff, hypothetical concept stuff. We don't actually know what the gameplay is going to look like. It could be complete crap, but if it's anything like this, even, I don't know, 30% like this, it looks pretty promising. But again, this is just concept stuff. I mean, from Genesis Code, I remember they showed like gameplay footage and they completely changed it. If you look at the footage of Genesis Code when it first debuted, when they first showed the trailer for it, and now it's completely different. So what you're seeing here is simple concept stuff, and conceptually it looks okay. I can't lie. But we see as a race on move on from that. They discussed, of course, the 3D stuff. They discussed the music of the game, which I don't really care too much about. World's End, by the way, is Colors 02. That's like the last intro of the story. Then we see them playing the music. Again, don't really care about that. Then we see Lost Stories. In the game, they're going to have Flow, not Lost Stories, this is Flow. They made the song called, I believe, Pendulum, which is the main, I think it's for the opening theme. I think also the Knightmare frame was also called Pendulum. I could be wrong on that. And they do some talking to you guys, and then we actually get this new cutscene that came out. I think this is the opening animations. I could be wrong, or it's promotional art. Either way, it's kind of cool. So we see your sibling holding the blue crane that was folded up. We saw earlier she was holding it. So that's what that's about. Zero's under some kind of angel by a, I don't know, is that a church or something? It could be your character too, but it's most likely Lelouch in Zero's costume. Anyone can be Zero, right? So there is that. I believe this is your character. Yep. Now, if there was a Geass ability, you would see it form right here, but they don't show one. I still think this guy's going to get a Geass power, but it's very possible he won't. It'd be kind of cool if he did, especially since it's your character. So we see the title, what the Lost Stories looks like, you know, the title and then the actual name, which I think we've seen before already, so nothing really new there. I think this is your sister. I'm not sure. This is Carly. This is Claris. She is your guardian because I think your mother was killed in some accident. Not your mother, but the character's mother. You know what I'm talking about. There's Colin, Suzaku. What's important about Suzaku here is that if you notice, he has the outfit when he's the Knight of Seven, which means this game takes place through all of Code Geass, which is very cool. I'm very excited to see how that's going to play out. There's C2. This is Lelouch, I believe, or your character. And you see he's into the Ashford Student Council, which makes sense, or the Student Council. Because again, it's your character involved in all the events of R1, R2, so naturally you would be in the Student Council. Nothing wrong with this. I am curious to see what happens when Rollo enters the story, or if Rollo enters the story. This is you again, with birds in the background, I guess. That's the capsule that would contain C2. Explosions happening in the ghetto. This is a scene where Colin, or right afterwards, where Colin was sprayed by the champagne bottle, and she's wearing Lucia's clothes. She's kind of pissed about it, understandably so. I think your character might have been involved in it, we don't know, but what I got from this scene was that many of these slice of life scenes, your character's going to partake in those. That's what I got from this image. I could be obviously wrong there. Lelouch using Geass on Jeremiah, and this is the scene where your character wants to get involved. What's interesting about this is that when I first watched this scene, I immediately thought of Guren and Lancelot and Guren. It's a manga. Basically, this girl here, I forgot her name, her family was killed by Princess Euphemia's orders to kill the Japanese in the Special Administrative Zone of Japan, and Colin saved her. So she wanted to join Colin and the Black Knights because she was so enamored by the Guren and the Black Knights saving the Japanese people. So in the same sense, your character also watches this and gets completely absorbed into Zero, wants to be like him and join the Black Knights. And because your character is half Japanese, it makes sense why they'd be sympathetic to Japanese people, much like Colin. So you see how he's really excited about what just happened in that scene. There's Arthur, the three boys, or girls, or two boys, one girl, depending on, what you decide to, your gender. But you're with Lelouch and Suzaku with the cat, Arthur. This is what we saw before, the Sullivans firing on certain people. I believe this is someone close to you because they're protecting someone, probably protecting you. Otherwise, why would they specifically show that scene? I don't know. We see that same church, and I think this is the same girl from before, your sister, but I could be wrong. Then again, we see, again, Claris, and she looks kind of evil. She's your guardian. She takes care of you because your parents died, and she looks kind of abusive. Also, your character looks like he's in some kind of affluent family, kind of like Colin as well. So I like that little setup for that. And again, looks like you've been abused by this guardian in your Britannian life. You prefer your Japanese identity. I would assume if he's a mix, maybe his mother was Japanese, kind of like Colin, and the father was Britannian. We'll find out, of course. And then we see, again, your main character's out. He's piloting this Knightmare frame called the Pendulum, I believe. Now, this is kind of a cool little scene here. One, there's Geass, the image of Geass in the background. Well, not the image of Geass, but like the whole, like when Lucius uses Geass on people, you see the mind and how it travels and uses the Geass effect on them. It's also the same background we see when C2 in the intro reaches out to you, right? So we see him in the same background, which is why I still believe he's gonna have Geass powers. But anyways, you notice how his outfit changes twice, right? So first, it's the Black Knight outfit, then it's his Ashford outfit, and then back to Black Knights. Actually, hold on. I could be wrong here. Let me go back here. Okay, his normal outfit, I guess. Then it's the Ashford outfit. Then it's the Black Knight's outfit. And then it's the Britannian military outfit. Now, I don't know what that means. I have a couple interpretations. Maybe you take on multiple roles in the story. Maybe you can choose to either fight the Black Knights or fight the Black Knights or work with them. It'd be kind of cool if you could switch directions like that. Maybe have branching storylines. That'd be kind of cool, right? I'm not sure if that's the case, but it does show you wearing different outfits, which means you might be taking on multiple roles in the story, which is kind of cool. He also does the patented Lelouch eye thing he does in the end of the first opening. Again, we see more new Knightmare frames. I don't think this is different from the one before. I don't know. This might be Carly's Knightmare frame. I'm not sure. And then we see again the same animation of the pendulum. I'm not sure which version of it flying in the air, which is the one you get to pilot. And it does look like, again, I can't tell. I think it transforms on some level. If you watch really carefully, I think it's transforming or not. It's a little confusing. but that's your Knightmare frame. And then those things at the top, those things at the top are these awesome guns it fires out. If this is available in the game, which I assume it would be, that'd be really cool to play as. Now notice how it, if I go back to it, you see how we see his eyes, or your character's eyes rather, and then the Knightmare frame's eyes. In Code Geass, you'll notice that all the Knightmare frames and the pilots have the same color eyes. Like Colin's is blue and the Guren is blue, Suzaku's eyes are green, and the Lancelot is green. So they're kind of following that as well with this. We then see the same thing we saw before with the pendulum flying in the air and that epic pose of it first appearing. I skipped like a couple things here. Let's go back. So then we see Carly and again Claris. I assume because we see them back to back, there's some kind of relationship between the two, or it could just be to have the characters together. We see Yuffie, Cornelia, Guilford, and Dalton. Lloyd, Suzaku, and Cecile. Cecile's, of course, upset with Lloyd, which else is new. Then these are kind of cool shots I really like. You see Schneizel with the pretending background, Kage, which I think this is either Japanese or maybe Kyoto, I'm not sure. Charles. And then if you go further, we see the Gawain with Zero, Colin, and the Satan 8 elements. So I assume this again takes place in R2. Plus, C2's outfit is also the one she wore in R2. So again, this is going to take place it's going to take place from R1 to R2. The entire Code Geass story with you being involved in it. And again, from the last trailer, we see Lelouch and your character banging hands. And that's where it's going to end. They're also, again, by that same spot, so I'm not sure what the significance of that is. And that's the trailer in a nutshell. It looks really cool, but again, it's not gameplay footage, it's promotional stuff. So just keep that in mind. We then see Suzaku's voice actor talking, because again, he's reprising his role, so skips for that. We have this whole campaign to pre-register, because you'll get some bonuses. And that's kind of it. They do more discussion, and then the thing essentially ends. So that's the new stuff we got from the live stream. This again explains the story I mentioned before. Same thing as Code Geass, except you are involved with it. See, it says, he spends his days fleeing and depressed about the current situation where the Japanese people are oppressed because he has a half-blood of Japanese people. One day, the military action taken by Britannia's army will trigger the war. I assume that means that the whole conflict between Zero and Lelouch, this image right here. So that's the first thing they updated in the website. The next thing they showed is, again, the battle system of the 3D Knightmare frames. We have no idea what it's going to look like, but this is the concept art for it. Here is the, they say advanced system, not sure what that means, but the whole way the dialogue is, again, fully animated and fully voiced, which is cool. I'm looking forward to that. And that's all the announcements or the new information there, except there's one more thing I forgot to mention. So you either can be Yuma Uchida, or you are Ayaka Ohashi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Either way, if you want to be a pretend, if you want to be a guy or a girl, you can pick either one. And that's all the major announcements. My initial thoughts about this is, first of all, I think it's really cool, and I mean this sincerely, that you are able to play out the entire story while being involved in it, which I think it's a cool concept. You get to basically insert yourself in Code Geass, and everything you do will impact the story on some level. I'm curious to see if your role is going to be bigger than Lucius. Probably not. You might be on a support role or equal level. So that's pretty cool. It's definitely a fan's dream to interact the story as a main character, as opposed to interacting the story with the characters themselves. Although I'd be happy with that as well. So I think that's kind of cool. Another thing I like is how we're going to have Knightmare frame combat while going through this story mode. The problem with Lost Colors is that it's just story. Endless story of you just talking to characters, which is fine, but I would like to have had action or combat or anything to break it up. And so we're having this whole Knightmare frame combat system, which is a good way to break up that stuff. Now, I don't know how it's going to work if it follows like Janissary Code or other games like that. I assume you're going to play a battle maybe, and then go through the storyline, play through the battle, storyline. I don't think it's going to be one of those games where you walk around and do stuff. I think it's going to be you're just going to follow like a linear path of events that will either have battles or story mode, because obviously for a mobile device, it will have a PC relaunch, but it's for a mobile device. So I don't think they're going to do anything really crazy with it, and they don't have to. If the battle system is fun, then I don't really care. I hope the Geass is not a gacha game, because if it is, that's going to be really frustrating, but we'll see what happens. As I've said before, when it comes to this game, I'm not going to crap on it right away, because it looks really cool, and I love the effort they're putting into it. But because of Janissary Code, I'm going to, keep my expectations low, and as more information comes out, I'll obviously update you guys, and we'll do more videos discussing it. So far, though, I will admit, it looks good. The conceptual art is awesome. The new animations are awesome. It's too bad we can't just get an anime, but whatever, they want to put all their budget into just making this really cool concept art to get you excited for the game, but just know that the game won't have any of that in there, and if it does, it might be for a couple of things here and there, but it will not be a common occurrence within the game. So those are our thoughts on it, the new information we got from Code Geass Lost Stories. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe if you're new, and as I always say, the world is not a dark place, and tomorrow will be a good day. Thanks for watching.